Hi WorldTempus family, thanks for joining us today as we go hands-on with the new Parmigiani Fleurier Tonda PF collection that was launched just a few months ago at Geneva Watch Days. This new sub-identity of the brand's best-selling Tonda represents a distillation of Parmigiani Fleurier's aesthetic codes, and even from a distance you can perceive the balance of understated elegance and luxury detailing. What we have with us today are three launch models in the Tonda PF, an automatic winding time and date watch, a 3-counter chronograph, and an annual calendar. We don't have the split seconds chronograph with us today, unfortunately. That is truly an exceptional piece at the tip of the complications pyramid, but we'll try and see if we can get it another time in a separate session, because trust me, it deserves a video all to itself. In comparison with another Tonda sub-identity, the sporty Tonda GT, which emphasizes high-impact, high-contrast designs, the Tonda PF is more about harmony and balance. And that's because the overall identity of these pieces evoke the world of men's tailoring in terms of colors, in terms of textures. You have these subtle curves that are combined with sharp angles, so you really have this sense of mobility and structure at the same time. Going closer to the dial, we want to get really into the details of the dial guillotine, which is executed by hand. The Grand Doge or Barleycorn pattern is a signature of Parmigiani Fleurier, but previously it was done on a larger scale. Here it's really been miniaturized to the extent that just by looking at it, you can't precisely discern the repeating pattern. You only get like a visual sense of the richness and texture through the reflected light. It's almost like a subconscious perception. Just like really high quality, high thread count fabric, you have to really zoom in to understand what it is that your eyes are picking up here. The color as well was specially worked on to convey the right sense of subtle warmth. These dials look grey, but if you actually use color analyzing software to break down the tones in this grey, it's actually a dark reddish grey. So you have the sophistication of this dark grey, but a slight hint of maroon gives it a warmer rather than a cooler inflection. You notice that at several points, such as on the bezel or on the outer bracelet links, you have two types of finishing on the same surface. This reinforces that richness of texture that we were talking about, and also indicates the level of skilled precision that goes into making these pieces. You can imagine that if there was even the slightest bit of misalignment, it would be immediately obvious. So by incorporating these details that require a lot of care, the Tonda PF lets you know that these watches are made with an extremely high level of attention. By the way, you might like to know that the steel model is by no means any less prestigious than the gold models. The bezel is in platinum in order to capitalize on the exceptional brightness of this noble metal. Platinum is already much tougher than gold, but in order to really match the robustness of steel, the bezel has been hardened, so the entire watch is elegant and durable at the same time. In terms of how it fits on the wrist, you can see that the slimness of the watches really brings a huge advantage here. These ones have been sized for my absolutely tiny wrist, and the 40mm case looks perfectly at home thanks to how well integrated the bracelet and case are. I'm not going to go into the technical bits of all the movements, but I think I just have to mention how it's entirely to the benefit of Parmigiani Fleurier that they have such extensive in-house expertise in movement creation with all their associated watchmaking companies that allow them to produce everything internally, from cases all the way to hairsprings. So there we are, the Parmigiani Fleurier Tonda PF Micro-rotor, chronograph, and annual calendar. Thanks so much for joining us. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel if you want to see more content like this. See you next time.